next speaker is Christine Dejong with ASTM International in her role as staff manager in the Technical Committee Operations Division. Christine has coordinated activities for several industries and directs the operations and strategic initiatives related to the standards work of more than a dozen technical committees. She serves as staff support for a standing committee of the ASTM Board of Directors, which oversees the maintenance of ASTM's regulations and various aspects of committee operations. Christine will describe to us how standards are enabling the way to a sustainable future. Please welcome Christine.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As he said, my name is Christine Dejong. I'm the manager of 12 technical committees at ASTM International. And what I would like to do today is give you a brief introduction about ASTM, an overview of what our goal is as an organization, and as well as a little bit of a structural and services point of view within it. And then I want to touch on a couple of technical committees related to energy efficiency, water usage, and sustainability efforts. So first, ASTM, we're a non-for-profit consensus standards development organization. Our standards are voluntary, and our main goal is to be the foremost developer of standards and related technical information and make sure that they are globally accepted. So to tell you a little bit about ASTM, we were founded in 1898. We actually started out trying to develop standards to standardize the steel used in railroads. And since then, we have expanded into 140 different industries. So we're responsible for developing and revising those technical standards, and we have approximately 12,000 standards, which are represented and used in 175 different countries. Our membership is comprised of about 31,000 members, and they are participating from around 130 countries. So what is the actual makeup of our committees? Well, we like it to be an open forum, so there's participation from all stakeholders in the industry, such as manufacturers, users, consumers, academia, government agencies, etc. So we do have a consensus-based procedure, meaning that our standards have to be approved by at least 90% of the committee, which represents the industry. They do also represent the public and private sectors of the industry. One of the key things that I wanted to touch on in this slide is that every member has equal say. So large organizations, small organizations, the users, everybody has an equal representation on the committee. So we ensure that there is balanced and that it does have market relevance. So how are the standards used? ASTM standards are voluntary. The only time that they become mandatory is when they're cited in a contract or in a law. Sometimes you will have voluntary programs that reference ASTM test methods, in which case to participate in that program, you would be required to use that particular ASTM test method to meet those requirements. So to talk a little bit about ASTM, the organization in itself, a little bit of support structure. ASTM International offers services such as meeting space, we have editorial services, we also have actual staff managers, which worked as the facilitators and regulators of the committees, such as myself. And we actually also act as a liaison between the industry and the organization and/or government agencies as well. So the managers and editors ensure that there's an efficient process that is outlined for the members who are volunteers and give their time to develop the standards. And we try to make the process as easy as possible. So talk about the structure of the committee. Again, we have over 140 technical committees, which represent all different industries. So we have a main committee umbrella, and then we'll have subcommittees underneath them. So you could have, for example, one of them I will touch on is us for renewable energies. And underneath that, we will have specific areas of that industry, which will have a smaller focus of technical experts to work on those documents before it is exposed to the entire main committee for that consensus approval. Underneath the subcommittees, we also have a grouping of task groups, which is usually a smaller group between 5 and 10 members, which are going to begin to formulate the draft of that standard before exposing it to a larger group within the subcommittee where it starts its balloting process. So the time frame for standards. The average time frame for a standard from its registration within our system is about 19 months. Now, depending on the drive for that standard, it could be done in as quickly as 7 to 14 months. So our standards are driven by the industry. So if there's an industry need, that participation from those members is going to have that standard be published quicker. So it also depends on the complexity of the job, the amount of testing that needs to be done for whether it be round robins, the urgency of the need of it, whether there's a political or industry drive for it. And then to touch on a couple topics within energy efficiency, water usage, and sustainability, we have a committee on renewable energies. It's Committee E44 related to solar, geothermal, and other alternative energy sources. So the main thrust of this committee recently has been PV, but it does cover such things as the advanced energy conversion. We do have within the scope to address wind energy, but at this point we do not have any standards covering that. The photovoltaic generation and electricity, the thermal conversion power generation, some heating of domestic hot water, and process heating. So one of the most active committees recently has been the PV committee. And the goal of this particular subcommittee is to evaluate and design the performance of the PV systems and all of the components necessary for that system to operate, such as the conversion, conditioning, storage, control, and distribution of the power. We have a couple key standards that have been published, one related to the electrical performance of the PV cells under stimulated sunlight, and then a test method for the rating of the electrical performance of concentrator PV modules and systems under natural sunlight. This actual subcommittee has around 23 standards. This is just mentioning a few that are on there.